we're still seeing this age-old process of rising disposable incomes, growing prosperity. That hasn't changed. The growth is still there, but I think as we're seeing disposable incomes rising among really all consumers, we're seeing the number of consumers that can afford food service, that group is expanding. But at the same time, I think when we're talking about markets like Brazil or China, or India, with that expansion in the consumer base comes a more diverse consumer base. So we're seeing greater disparities in terms of disposable income, in terms of product preferences, in terms of locations. So all of that has kind of shifted the winning strategies for food service players. So rather than simply focusing on maybe the one or two largest cities in a market, the Beijings, the Shanghais, the Mumbais, we're seeing a lot more investment in second-tier locations, more suburban locations, and likewise, rather than targeting just maybe the highest income urban consumers, strategy that's worked for a long time, we're seeing a lot more effort to target low-income consumers. This is both because we're seeing a larger number of low-income consumers that can afford to purchase fast food and other food service on a regular basis, and also just because the competitive environment is growing so fierce, in the largest cities among the largest, the highest income groups. If we talk about outlet innovation, for instance, if we look at South Africa, we've seen a number of operators really innovating in terms of smaller footprint outlets, that cost less money to build, to maintain, and this has the effect of allowing for lower price points, less overhead. Means outlets can be viable at a lower level of annual sales, and that's really key to reaching a lot of lower income consumers. So looking at the example of South Africa, for instance, we have Debonair's Pizza, one of their largest delivery pizza chains, has rolled out a new smaller format. This one actually has no delivery, it's just pickup, a more limited menu, just 5 pizzas, much smaller menu than they normally offer, but the advantage here is that the setup costs are just 2/3 of what a standard outlet would be, and so this really increases the range of areas where they can profitably function. Keeping with the South Africa example, we can also see some chains going even further, experimenting with things like shipping containers. We've seen local independent operators using old shipping containers as a low-cost outlet format, just setting up shop in these and serving from those as kind of a pop-up kiosk, if you will. But we're starting to see this format even spread to some larger chains. So Giramundo, kind of a spicy chicken chain that Famous Brands purchased a while back. They actually operate a couple of outlets out of these shipping containers. So this is another example of kind of some creative outlet innovation that allows you to reach lower income consumers, reach people in more out of the way places. And some other examples of this, certainly McDonald's has been fairly aggressive with their kiosk strategy. So we've seen this in Brazil, starting to see it in China as well. These kind of small kiosks that sell mostly desserts, beverages, high margin items that can allow an outlet to be more profitable at lower price points. So all of these things kind of go to that aim of being able to hit those lower price points that are affordable for a wider range of the population.